it's Brooke from The Vintage Gardener. Welcome back to my channel. So, it's December 30th, and I am finished all the projects that I was planning to get done in 2020. Actually, I gotta be honest with you, the parterre garden, those walkways, I was not planning to do this year. I was planning to do the spring, but it worked out that I was able to get it done early, and you know, I'm really glad that I did because I'll be so much further along. I'm further ahead of the 8 ball in come spring 2021. So I'm going to take some badly needed vacation from gardening and get some Christmas presents done. But the reason I jumped on here is because I'm starting a new playlist on YouTube, Facebook, and IGTV. I think will let me do it too. And it is called Gardens of Distinction. And so I live in Burlington County, which is in southern New Jersey, and I am 21 miles away from Philly. This area is called the garden capital of the U.S. Why? Because within 30 miles of Philly, there are 36 gardens. And obviously, you can imagine they're large scale. We're talking about Longwood, Chanticleer, Nemours, Winterthur, places like that. They're huge. And so I did not realize that there were that many gardens in this area. I don't know how that happened, but I am going to make it a point to visit all 36 gardens. I'm not going to give you a time frame because it's going to take me a while, but that's my whole goal, is to visit all 36. Some of them I'm going to be going to more than once. The first two I'm going to show you, I can tell you those two I'm going to be visiting more than once because both of those gardens have garden centers. So I can go shopping. So you know I'm going back. So I'm going to try to put together a schedule of when I'm going to go visit certain places. And that way, I'll create an event on Facebook. I know there's a lot of people who watch who are local to me, and we can make a field trip. Because what's better than going to visit a 30-acre garden than going with a bunch of people who are enthusiastic about gardening just like you? There is nothing better than that. So the first garden I'm going to show you is PHS Meadowbrook Farm. PHS is the Pennsylvania Horticultural Society. They are the people that bring you the flower show. I am a member. So that's in Jenkintown, PA. The second one is Hortulus Farm, which is located in Newtown, PA. If you guys follow me on Instagram, I think it might have been my stories, but that's the place where I was on the hike out in the woods, in the mountains, and I kept saying, I don't know where I am right now. I'm totally lost. That is Hortulus Farm. So one thing that is similar with both of those two gardens is that that area of Pennsylvania has actual hills, not like the pathetic excuses we have in New Jersey for hills. I'm talking about hardcore hills where, it's you get hiking up the mountains basically. And so when you have places that are located on that type of topography, they usually do terrace gardens. One of the things that comes along with terrace gardens is the whole concept of garden rooms. And if I remember correctly, when I was at PHS Farm, I do believe that particular house, that was the first person to start the concept of rooms, garden rooms. So that it's great. It gives a sense of intimacy and just seclusion and isolation, which is wonderful. And I talk about that in the video at PHS Meadowbrook Farm. The other thing is that when you have terraces, because of the topography, it necessarily breaks certain segments of the garden into smaller segments. And what I think is inspiring about that is that if you have a smaller space, I consider my acre lot to be a smaller space. My mother thinks I'm crazy about that, by the way. I consider that to be smaller. I know that most of you will probably disagree, but I guess I'm comparing it to the things that I'm inspired by larger scale gardens, so to me this is small. But I know a lot of people have half acre, you know, third acre, quarter acre. Some people are in city lots and they don't even have a quarter acre. They may have an eighth of an acre lot. The nice thing about with the terraced gardens and the rooms is that there's a lot of things that can translate into much smaller gardens, and it's just how it's all set up, and it's kind of hard to explain until you see it. But if you have a small space, definitely pay attention to these videos. I'll try to put a link to the website for America's Garden Capital. Look, so you can see other places to go to, because it's definitely something you should check out, because that's the one question I get asked a lot is, you know, how do you, I don't have a lot of space, like how do I work this, and that's just it. Even though these, you'll see that even though when you think about the fact that these segments of the garden are small, when you're in it, just because of how they've designed it, it just feels so much bigger, and it really isn't that big. A lot of them are really not that big of a space. So I hope you guys join me on this journey. If when I get my schedule together, I'll try to create some Facebook events so those of you who are near can join me. And it's just gonna be a lot of fun. The other thing is that some of these two gardens that I saw, they do have parterre gardens in them, and so even though I kind of had a sense of where I was going, there were elements of those parterre gardens that I was like, oh yeah, I definitely need to. Definitely when I do this, I need to do certain things in my parterre garden, and I think it'll kind of take my garden. It's not that my garden would look nice, but I think some of the things they did by recreating it, modifying it for my own garden, I think it's gonna kick it up a notch. So, you always gotta level up, people. You always gotta level up. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.